It is my very great honor to introduce our very, very special guest, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. But hold on. He has delivered historic tax cuts for the middle class, which have jump-started the economy and produced unprecedented growth and jobs. Second quarter GDP was an impressive 4.2%, the highest in years. The unemployment rate in September, 3.7%, is the lowest in nearly 50 years. And as a former Secretary of Labor, I can tell you how truly amazing that is. In fact, there have only been 10 months since 1970 that the unemployment rate has been below 4%, and half of them have occurred this year under President Trump. Since President Trump took office, the economy has added more than 4.2 million jobs. And for the first time since 2008, the United States has regained its place as the most competitive economy in the world. So I'm going to ask the President to come on to join us. And we also have here Les Ball, who's a supervisor, District 5 of Shasta County, and he has a special award and presentation to give to the President. So please join me in giving a very special welcome to President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So, Mr. President, Shasta County was recently devastated by the Carr Fire, in size about 4 times the size of the city of Sacramento, displacing 38,000 people, 1,200 homes lost, and significantly 8 lives lost. When the President used his pen and his authority to give us an emergency declaration, literally the floodgates, that's a new word, of relief opened up, and we are well on the road to recovery. Just a couple short months after the fire, we are almost at 50% cleanup, which is unheard of after a fire. Sir, your signature opened up initially $100 million of help for Little Shasta County. We're only about 180,000 people.
Thank you.
And your entire team has been there. Secretary Zinke's been there. Literally, your cabinet has been there. They've met with us personally. SBA has been there. They've produced loans. Everything has happened in a positive way. Shasta County has asked me to thank you personally. This is just a piece of paper, but this comes from the hearts of the citizens of Shasta County. And I want you to know this, sir. I'm also a pastor, and we pray for you and your entire staff every day.
Thank you.
We want to say thank you, and God bless you, Mr. President. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
That's so nice. Thank you. That's very nice. Pastor. That's very nice. Wow. I love that he's a pastor. Now I like it even more. See? Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you. I wonder why that's displayed like that. Do we own that water company, the federal government? Thank you very much. In the old days, I was very good at that stuff. Anyway, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with you. And Secretary Chow, you've been so fantastic in so many ways. Transportation, it's just moving along. And you've done a fantastic job for me and for the country, and I appreciate all that you do. And I shouldn't say it because it always causes a problem, but we just don't have any problems there. It goes so smooth, and you're a very special person. Thank you very much, Elaine. Really appreciate it. It's a true honor to host so many great leaders from Alaska, California, and Hawaii. In particular, I want to thank the president of the National Association of Counties and member of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, Greg Cox. Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Stella. Okay. That's good. Thank you, Greg. Also, Acting Administrator Andrew Wheeler is joining us. Where's Andrew? Andrew's here someplace. I saw him back there. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Since I first took office, my administration has made it a priority to invite county commissioners from across the United States to the White House. Very, very important people to me and to a lot of other people. Perhaps to some people, you're not important, but to us, you'll always be important, okay? We know where it's at. We know where it's at. I'm pleased to say that more than 3,700 local officials from all 50 states have now participated in a White House State Leadership Conference. In recent weeks, we have seen the crucial importance of state, local, and federal partnerships. Natural disasters have struck states across the nation, including each of yours, and very heavily in your states. In every instance, our joint response and recovery efforts have been critical to saving lives and rebuilding communities. The White House State Leadership Conference is a perfect venue for us to share priorities and to forge partnerships. This is a truly exciting time for America. You've heard me say this before, but we just got the World Economic Forum, the recognition that the United States has reclaimed its rightful place after many years of being off the list as the most competitive economy anywhere in the world. Nice. We're back. It's a big statement. And if you look at consumer confidence, we're at the top of every list. We're setting records in terms of that, too. But we got back on the list in the #1 position and world's most competitive. Following the passage of our massive tax cuts and regulation cuts, the unemployment rate has fallen to the lowest level in more than 50 years, 5-0. We've created more than 4.2 million new jobs and lifted over 4 million Americans off of food stamps. So that's a great number. Median household income in 2017 was the highest level ever recorded. Hispanic American household income reached an all-time high, historic level. Hispanic American poverty and African American poverty have reached an all-time low, the lowest levels ever. That's great. Hispanic American, African American, and Asian American unemployment all recently achieved their lowest rates ever recorded in the history of our country. That's pretty good. We've reached a deal to replace NAFTA, and as you know, I wasn't a big fan of NAFTA. I think it's one of the worst trade deals ever entered into. I rate it second. I won't tell you what first is. There's another one that's actually worse, and I won't tell you it's the WTO, okay? I refuse to tell you the name, but that's a total disaster also. I refuse to say what it is, though. Keep it quiet. Am I allowed to say off the record? Let's see. And we have a tremendous new deal with the United States, Mexico, and Canada, the USMCA, we call it. I didn't want the NAFTA name on it because I saw what NAFTA did many years ago to towns and factories and businesses and what it did to the car companies, where not so much the companies, to Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Kentucky and so many other places where these companies just left the United States. So we still have empty factories all over the place from that devastation of NAFTA. Well, we have just the opposite. The USMCA, one of the strongest things about that, you're not going to have companies leaving anymore because they have a disincentive to leave. I don't want them to leave. Call me a nationalist if you'd like, but I don't want companies leaving. I don't want them firing all their people, going to another country, making a product, sending it into our country, tax-free, no charge, no tariff, no nothing. And in the meantime, we end up with empty plants, unemployment all over the place. We end up with nothing. So those deals are not happening anymore. We also completed a wonderful new deal with South Korea. This was a deal that the previous administration did, and they promised 250,000 jobs. They said this will create 250,000 new jobs, and they were right, for South Korea, not for us. They produced 250,000 jobs. We got nothing except loss. So we've renegotiated the deal with South Korea. Now it's a reasonable deal. Just last week, I signed a presidential memorandum to dramatically improve the reliable supply and delivery of water critical to states like California. It's one of the most ridiculous things. I saw it on the campaign trail, and I saw it numerous times, but I was out in that area, actually with Congressman Devin Nunes, who's a terrific guy, and some of the congressmen that right now are out there so happy at what I signed. And I look at these incredible, beautiful fields, and they're dry, like dry as a bone. And I'd see hundreds and hundreds of acres as far as the eye could see. And then you'd have a little, tiny little green patch in the corner, just beautiful green. It's so beautiful, so rich. And I said, what's going on? You have this little patch, and then you have all this dry, horrible, really, to me, it was horrible. It was all dry land. And they said, I said, you must have a tremendous drought going on. This is like 3.5, 4 years ago. I said, you must have a tremendous drought going on. They said, no, we have so much water, we don't know what to do with it. But they don't let the water come down to us. It naturally flows to us. They won't let it. They send it out into the Pacific Ocean, millions and millions and millions of gallons. We have the greatest farmland anywhere in the world, but they won't give us water. So the only areas are if we take little spots on these massive areas of land. I could see it. I'm driving down the highway, and I'm saying, after like 10 minutes of looking at all this barren, then a little spot of beautiful, so green. I've never forgotten it. And I said, what's going on here? But I assumed it was a drought. They said, no. The government, state and federal, send the water out into the Pacific. I believe he said they're trying to protect a smelt, little tiny, which, by the way, is doing very poorly. It's doing very poorly. Nobody knows what a smelt is. I still don't know what a smelt is. But it's doing very poorly. It really is a terrible thing. I said, so let me ask you, and they have a like a valve, but massive, like from a faucet, but massive. And they turn it, and the water goes pouring, Elaine, out into the Pacific Ocean, where it means nothing, like a drop. For the Pacific, it's a drop. For the farmers, it's like we have more water, more economic development than anything you can do in the state of California. So it left a great impression. And I told them, I said, listen, if I win the nomination, this was before I got the nomination, and if I go on to victory, I'm going to come back and revisit this. This is a seriously defective thing going on. I thought they had a drought. I say, I didn't realize. They said, no, we have so much water, we don't know what to do with it. Then you have all the forest fires burning. We have so much water, they could actually water some of it. And of course, Secretary Zinke, I'm sure he talked about management. Because, we're tired of giving California hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars all the time for their forest fires when you wouldn't have them if they managed their forests properly. They don't. They have lousy management, and the environmentalists are, doing something very bad. They won't let us take the logs. They won't let us take the dead trees. It's all a mess. And if you did it properly, I was in another state I won't mention, but I was in another state where they have tremendous forests, and it's a very well-managed state. And they maintain their property. And when a tree dies, it doesn't sit there dry as a bone, rotting, and if a little spark hits it, they lose 200,000 acres. And they've tested, and they did, and basically, it's almost you can't lose anything when you maintain. They sometimes have a grass burn off underneath the tree, doesn't affect the tree, doesn't last long enough to light the tree. And they said we had two areas we checked. One was where we let it be like the California where they have such a disaster, and the other is where we cleaned and managed the forest. We lit one, we lost 1/2 an acre. We lit the other, we lost I don't know what he said, 100,000. It was out of control. And these guys are really good with this. But they did it as an experiment. They lost a tremendous, thousands and thousands of acres. We couldn't put it out, they said. So California, get on the ball, because we're not going to hand you any more money. It's ridiculous, okay? So with the water, we're looking at that. I mean, we're not only looking, it's going to be approved, where Andrew Wheeler, EPA, is working on it, and Zinke and everybody. We're going to have that approved fast. And the state has to approve it, too. And I hope the state will do it. You know, in California, it might be tough, but they have to do it. They have to do it. Do you know the kind of money you're talking about for the state and for the federal government? You're talking about an area that's not doing well to an area that would be the most robust farmland anywhere in the world. Because I've heard, I don't know, you people are nodding like you know exactly what I'm talking about. I hear it's the finest land there is for growing things. But they took away the water. You know, it's artificial. They took it away. Do you want to? Am I correct? Do you want to stand up? You look like you know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know who he is, but that's okay. Good-looking man. Nice-looking man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
From the Central Valley, thank you. As a farmer.
You're Central Valley?
Yes, sir.
That's
Congressman,
I'd
Valadale's district.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Congressman Valadale and Congressman Nunes's districts. And we can't tell you, you know the disaster that's occurring there. Unfortunately for me, because of a lack of water, 3 generations, my family, we sold the farm 2 years ago because of a lack of water.
And you used to have the water, right?
We used to have
They turned
water.
it off.
Yeah.
They literally turned the water off.
Yeah. So we just can't thank you enough. You kept your campaign commitment to help us.
I did.
And we truly appreciate that.
Well, we have to get the state, though, to get it approved. Now we have to get the, you know, I didn't know I'd be doing this, to be honest with you. We stuck at this point, but it has such, especially with the commissioners and everything, we have to get the state to approve their share. The amount of jobs you're talking about is enormous. The amount of economic development, the hundreds of millions of dollars, and it'll be better maintained, much better maintained. Yes, please.
Yeah, so it also created another industry, which is selling the water. So it put a value on our water. And as a 4th-generation farmer myself, I had to buy the water from my family. So I've had to pay $6,000 an acre foot to buy this water. So over $1 million to farm 187 acres.
So horrible, isn't it?
So that doesn't make any sense. So it created another industry. So now some people in Southern California are paying $5,000 an acre foot for water when they shouldn't be paying that. It's too much money. So it's putting counties at each other's throat too. So what you did is
Well, I know
can't put it in
California
words.
well, and I see houses, beautiful houses. People are very proud of their house. Their lawn is brown. It's dead. It's dying. It's dead. And they end up taking it out and just have sand in front of their houses. And they have so much water, they don't know what to do with it. It's so crazy. And you're lucky. You have the climate and you have the heat, but you have the water. Very few climates have that. Most climates like that don't have water. You do. You have so much you don't know what to do with it. It is a disgrace. So on behalf of all of the congressmen that I signed with the other day, and I hear in California it was very well received, the people want it. The only one that don't are a couple of environmentalists that probably get paid huge amounts of money for being consultants. I know that business better than anybody in the world. And some of the politicians that probably think it's popular what they're doing. And it's not. It's the opposite. That's one of the great examples. Okay, you tell the people we're with them, and whatever we have to do to push the state, we will do to push the state. And those congressmen that stood behind me, those people are great people. They're not doing it for themselves. They're great people. They just know what's right and wrong. So good luck. We will be pushing. Okay? Thank you. It's amazing. Thank you, and thank you for being here. Later today, I'm going to sign America's Water Infrastructure Act of 2018, which authorizes important investments in ports and harbors and waterways and levees and water systems in communities all across our country. I was in Texas last night, where we had a seriously amazing crowd of people. We had over 100,000 people sign up to hear a speech. So they want to hear something. You know, they're waiting. They're tired of what's been happening for so many years. And big oil, they can't get ships into harbors because they can't get permits to drain. And is Andrew Wheeler here someplace? Because I'm going to ask Andrew to get that done right away. If Andrew could just step up, I'll ask Andrew to get that done. In their ports.
Right behind you, sir.
Where is he? Oh, come here.
Thank you, Mr. President.
He's acting, but he's doing well, right? So maybe he won't be so acting so long. Andrew, especially if he gets this done. So in Texas, they can't get the big ships in because they need to dredge a couple of feet. Standard stuff. They can't get the permits. It's not from us. They've been trying for years. But the ships have gotten much bigger, and probably with the silt, it's gone up a little bit. But if you could work with the state of Texas, and I'll give you the names, they were just last night, they say the cost of this is enormous, what it's costing, not to do it. The dredging is but they need dredging. You may have heard about it, you may not, but whatever you can do for the great state of Texas, this way they can bring the giant ships right in, fill them up, and they go out. And it'll be a tremendous difference. They will sell a lot more oil. We have now become the #1 energy source in the world. Can you believe it? In the last little while. If you could do that, Andrew, okay? Thank you. He'll get it done. To expand, boy, we're getting a lot of done. I was just going to say a few words. And get out of here and say, now I've fulfilled my function to Elaine. And to Kellyanne, where's Kellyanne, our great Kellyanne? She's so good. They're all backstage here. I think they're all looking for something exciting. Oh, she's speaking, isn't she, after me? Oh, that's going to be interesting. Oh, she's speaking. Maybe I'll have to hang around and hear her speak. She's terrific. To expand opportunity for all citizens, we also focused on vocational education. To me, very important. Yeah. Very important. And I'm proud to have signed into law the Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act. It's a long name, but good name. And I love the name vocational. You know, when I was growing up, we had vocational schools. Today you have community college. I'm trying to say, well, a community college, what do they teach? English and Latin, and what are they teaching? The old days, we had vocational schools. And I'd go to school with people who weren't necessarily good students, but they could go outside after school hours and take away a car engine, take apart electric motors, take apart and nobody else, the best student in the class, didn't even know what they were doing. They had no clue. But they were great at that, and that's what they like to do. And we've gotten rid of vocational schools, and we've replaced them with community colleges. We need vocational schools. It's great money. I mean, did you see a recent study came out? They earn more than a lot of the white-collar people that go out and they work behind a desk. They're doing better, and that's their ability, and that's what they want to do. So we have to bring back vocational schools. Use that name. I think it's a much better name. Our pledge to America's workers has also resulted, and Ivanka Trump worked so hard on this, in employers committing to train more than 4 million Americans, and that number is now up substantially. These are the companies training. One of the most important areas of state and federal cooperation is public safety. In the past, and if you look at post-9/11 era, we know how capital and how critical it is to have a seamless cooperation between all levels of law enforcement. And I want to especially thank the community leaders here today who have expressed their support for working with federal immigration authorities. So important, so great. And a lot of times you're not allowed to do it by some bad leadership in various states. You have some bad leadership, but you know what the right thing to do is. So I want to thank all of those people that work with federal immigration authorities to remove gang members, drug dealers, and criminals from your community. It sounds like a pretty easy thing to do, I think. So what do? They say, no, we don't want gang members removed from the community. We don't want criminals removed, I guess, right? Someday you'll have to explain the politics of that, okay? Because I don't get it. I don't think too many people in this room do either, because you know what you're doing at the highest level. But I appreciate you working with the authorities. My administration is also working closely with state and local leaders to save the lives of those suffering from the scourge of drug addiction by taking historic action to confront the opioid epidemic and also the drug epidemic. I mean, just the drug generally epidemic. Since last year, the total number of opioid prescriptions has decreased by 17%. And we're working very hard on the drug problem. You see what's going on the border. You see how bad the immigration laws are given to us, thank you very much, by the Democrats. They're the dumbest laws anywhere in the world.
All right, folks, welcome. My name is Jen. I'm from Golden State Times. I'm the host of the stream, and I'd like to welcome you. The president is about to begin his speech at the White House regarding jobs, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We're going to have the live stream up for you in just 1 second as we get the footage from inside the venue or inside the White House, where the president is going to give his speech on jobs. So make sure you guys stay tuned and please share the live stream on social media. Also, don't forget that later on tonight, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, President Donald Trump is going to be having a rally in Florida today on Halloween, folks. And there's going to be 13 rallies in the next 4 days, folks. I don't know how the president is going to fill it in. Most of those days is going to be 3 rallies a day. So on the 5th, the 4th, and the 3rd is going to be 3 rallies a day, and then 2 rallies on the 1st and the 2nd. So a lot of rallies coming up. So make sure you guys stay tuned live here at Golden State Times. Like I said, I'll be putting the footage up on your screen in just 1 second.
Well, a community college, what do they teach? English and Latin, and what are they teaching? The old days, we had vocational schools. And I'd go to school with people who weren't necessarily good students.
All right, folks. So I have footage from, like I said, from inside the White House. So let me put it up on your screen for you in a second here as we get ready for President Trump's speech at the White House regarding jobs. Thank you so much. Like I said, please share the stream on Facebook, Twitter, Gab. If you guys share the stream on Twitter, I'll give you guys a quick shout out. Thank you.
No. She's White House press office, but yeah. Blake Berman, not Brad Blake. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much. There you go. No, this is perfect. Yeah.
All right, folks, so we're going to be giving some shout outs here of people sharing the live stream on social media. And we have James. Thank you so much, James. We also have Trump's Microwave Soda. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. JC Alexandris, thank you so much for sharing the live stream twice. Archangel Warcry, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Also, Delano Sally, thank you so much. Lois Holmes, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Mark T. Jones, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Veronica, Linda, and Clarence, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. We also have Brock and Social Zebra Digital, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. William Rockhill, thank you so much. Also, why not Deplorable Dredge, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Let's see, who else do we have on here, folks? We have Ty Para Impul. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. Thank you for sharing the live stream. Let's see, who else do we have on here, folks? We have Shane. Thank you so much, Shane, for sharing the live stream on social media. Bobby. Thank you so much, Bobby, for sharing the live stream. And Alicia. Thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing the live stream. Let's see, who else do we have on here? We have Brock and Activist Bowen. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Timothy. Thank you so much, Timothy, for sharing the live stream. KC Liberty. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream twice. Thank you so much for that. Gallon. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Avi. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Anita Lone Nurse. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Stefan, thank you so much for sharing the live stream, Stefan. Let's see if we have any new ones. If you guys are sharing the live stream on social media, I'll give you guys a quick shout out. We have Annalita Nurse again. Proud American, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Pepito Hispanic Frog, thank you so much, Pepito, for sharing the live stream. To be continued, thank you so much. GB Scuba Hunter, thank you so much. Tin and City, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. If you guys share the live stream on Twitter, I'll give you guys a quick shout out. I used to give shout outs to people that also shared it on Gab, but as you guys know, Gab is not up as of yesterday. I haven't checked today, but we know that Gab is not up right now. So thank you so much for sharing the live stream, folks. I'll give you more shout outs. I'll give more shout outs in just a few minutes. Thank you. All right, folks. So I'm going to be giving more shout outs real quick to everyone that is sharing the live stream on social media right now. Let's see. Who else do we have? Let's see here. If we have any more people. Okay, so we got 904 Net. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. We also have Sparky 1833. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Susan, thank you so much, Susan, for sharing the live stream. Patriot Mom Susie Q, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Texas Jam, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Rainbow Promise, thank you so much. Also, Bath 1975, thank you so much. Tin and City, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. All right, folks, so it should start soon, hopefully, and we'll go on from there. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream on social media, folks.
7:30, so it's a little tough.
This is like me. Yeah, I'm not working.
All right, so we have more shout outs here. We have Gregory. Thank you so much, Gregory, for retweeting. Casey Liberty Adventure, thank you so much for retweeting. Donna, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Kimberly Colorado Trump, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. All right, folks, so we have a little bit more information regarding this event. This event is not going to be just the president. As you guys can see, there's 3 seats. So this event is going to be President Trump, and then also Larry Kudlow and Ivanka Trump. So they're all going to be talking about jobs, the economy, wages, and all that other stuff. So you guys it's pretty cool that we're going to get 3 speakers instead of 1, along with the president. So that's good. So that's more information from this event, folks. This comes straight from the White House, and it was posted a minute ago. So that's new information. All right. So we're also going to be giving shout outs to everyone that is sharing the live stream on social media. And let's see if we have any more Patriots giving. Here we go. Wendy, thank you so much, Wendy, for sharing the live stream. Also, Jacob Cruz, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Deb007, thank you so much. I like your name on there. Low Ross 25 or 26, I'm sorry. Thank you for sharing the live stream. Rosebar, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Ernestine, thank you so much for sharing the live stream on social media. Justice for Tommy, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Let's see, who else do we have on here, folks? All right, so we got, 904 Net. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream. All right, folks, thank you so much, everyone that is sharing the live stream on social media. That helps out the channel. Also, don't forget to click the thumbs up button below the video. That helps out the channel too. It forces YouTube to put this on recommended, and more Patriots are able to see these speeches. And you never know, we might catch the attention of some people that are on the fence, independents, right? So if you guys share this live stream, if you guys are active on the chat, and you guys smack the thumbs up button, then YouTube has no choice but to share this. Thank you so much. Or I think it's starting.
The President of the United States, accompanied by the Honorable Larry Kudlow and the Honorable Ivanka Trump.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Larry Kudlow. I hope I'm hooked up with the mic. I believe I am. We're here to celebrate, actually. That's what we're going to call this, to celebrate the new American workforce, is what I'm calling it. The new American workforce in the middle of an economic boom. One person has gone around the country championing, crusading, so that every worker can be, listen to this word, it's one of my favorite words, reskilling. Reskilling. We've all got, later on, I'm going to ask her about reskilling old broadcasters and NEC directors, and maybe more. Anyway, the headline here is you have a new announcement now. This is private sector, okay, private companies, no government money, but dealing with the American workforce so it can fit in the missing links between job openings and folks who want to work. Ivanka Trump, tell us about it.
Thank you, Larry, and thank you for this opportunity. So we're sitting in a room today surrounded by companies who have committed to investing in their workforces and workers who have benefited, and students from those programs. The reality is that we have an incredible economy, a robust economy, and that's because of deregulation, because of tax reform, and for the first time in history, we have more vacant jobs than we have unemployed workers to fill them. And so this represents an enormous opportunity for us to think about making sure that every American worker is equipped with the skills they need, whether they're in high school and they're looking to graduate and have a job ready for them upon graduation, or whether they're a mid to late career worker who's looking for an opportunity to learn a new skill or learn a new trade. So we've been doing that. The president, back in July, announced a call to action where he wanted the private sector to step up and start to take responsibility and take a commitment for investing in their own workforce. They did that. Back at the end of July, we announced over 3.5 million jobs created by companies such as Apple and FedEx, Microsoft and Walmart and so many others. Since that period of time, more than 120 additional companies have signed our Pledge to America's Workers. And as Larry noted, no federal funds are involved in this at all. And they're committing to retraining, creating new jobs, creating enhanced career opportunities, apprenticeship, learn while you earn opportunities. So several of those employers are here with us today. We've got the CEO from Textron, who has committed to 22,000 opportunities to train workers in the aviation sector. So thank you very much for that commitment. Ford Motor Company is committed to providing 55,000 new jobs and opportunities in the automotive sector. AT&T has committed to 200,000 new jobs and opportunities. And IPC, John, the CEO, thank you so much, of this association that represents electronic assembly industry, whose members have committed a total of 1 million new jobs and training opportunities. So just incredible.
Stand up, please.
Please, yes.
So the headline is, you're up to?
We're up to 6.3 million new jobs.
Which is incredible.
And if you think about that in context, that represents 5% of the current workforce. So it's really remarkable. And really this is that call to action to the private sector to invest in the current and the future workforce. And we're going to continue to have the private sector sign our pledge and agree to making this type of investment. With that, while the last event and the last time we were here announcing the launch of the pledge, today we really wanted to focus on the workers that benefit from it. So in my travels, and I've been to job training programs in now 14 states across the country and really seen the best-in-class things that are happening on a state level. Thank you, Governor Bevin, for all that you're doing, and on a private sector level. But I've met some remarkable people, many of whom are in this room. I'd like to briefly introduce Eric, who I was just in Eastern Kentucky with, who went from a job in the coal mining industry to now a CNC machining instructor. He was so good that they wanted to keep him to train their other workers. So maybe, Eric, if you wouldn't mind standing and telling us a little bit about your story.
Well, like you said, I was a laid-off coal miner. I worked in the coal mines for 30 years. Worked my way through it all. Electrician when I was laid off. Found myself without anything to, support my family with. What am I going to do? Unemployment's not going to do it. I'm not old enough to be retired yet, so I got to work every day of my life, So I got the opportunity through Paintsville CAP office to give me the knowledge of the CNC machine school that had just opened up there in Paintsville. I was in the first class, went through it as a 16-week course, took to it, understood it, become a part of it. They decided to keep me there, and I help with other students. We're on our third class now. We have people working in Louisville, Winchester, all around the surrounding area. But those guys, they want to come home too and then work right there in the area. So we're hoping that with the school and the jobs that we're creating will bring industry in, and we'll all
firsthand just how amazing Eric is and the work that he does and the instruction he's given to so many in that facility. So really amazing. And Stasia, I met you in Houston. And Stasia is currently training to be an apprentice and is valedictorian of her class, graduating, I believe, just in a couple months, and is looking forward to a career as a pipe fitter. I should also mention that you're a Marine Corps veteran. So would you share your story with us, Stasia?
Well, as she said, my name is Stacia Brightman. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm the proud mother of 2 boys, and I'm a Marine Corps veteran. My oldest son is also a Marine as well, stationed in MCA at Cherry Point. Following my career in the Marine Corps, I found myself unemployed, working a bunch of dead-end jobs. And I was looking for something more than just a job. I wanted a career. So I was approached by S&B for their Women's Apprenticeship Program, which is an Earn While You Learn program. At that time, I was kind of discouraged because the oil and gas industry is not an industry that has a lot of respect for women and has a lot of respect for females. So I went and I spoke with my pastor, and my pastor gave me some words of advice. She told me that be the change that I want to see. Be the woman that can go out there and make that difference, that can earn the women respect. So I agreed to the Women's Apprenticeship Program from S&B. It's a 16-week course, and we on our 11th week. And as Ms. Ivanka said, yes, I am the valedictorian of our class. I appreciate S&B for the opportunity that it's given me. Not only do I have a job, now I have a career. And I have a career that I can lean on and that I can look forward to and that'll take me further.
Amazing. Amazing. Congratulations. And lastly, I'd like to introduce Anna. Anna, I met in Pittsburgh in August in Robotics Row. And Anna, and I see several of her classmates, are part of the first robotics team. And hi, ladies. They are doing just incredible things in the field of STEM, and they're competing both in Pennsylvania and internationally, and are really our next generation of entrepreneurs, engineers, innovators, and really inspiring. So Anna, will you share with us some of your goals and your story?
Yeah, my name is Anna Nesbitt. I'm a sophomore in high school. I am, as Ms. Trump said, I am a part of a first robotics team called Girls of Steel Robotics. You can see 3 of the other girls on our team right over there. Every year, our robotics team of around 50 girls from the greater Pittsburgh area meets at Carnegie Mellon University, and we build an 120-pound robot in 6 weeks. Once we build the robot, then we go to international competitions, and we compete with it through a game that FIRST designs. But these teams are so much more than just about robotics. Each girl on our team is part of a business sub-team and a technical sub-team, which allows girls to be able to spend 1 day a week writing a business plan and the next day of a week welding. And it's really teaching girls on our team and on all FIRST programs similar to ours, real world skills that you could not get from sitting behind a desk in a classroom. So the things that I've learned through Girls of Steel and been empowered to try through Girls of Steel, I know are gonna shape my future. And yeah, I'm really thankful for the opportunities that we've had through these after-school programs in STEM.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story, and I thought that would set a nice tone for a broader discussion about the economic opportunity that's been being created by President Trump and this administration. So Larry, I'll kick it over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you, Yvonne. By the way, young lady, robot building. A lot of people are worried about the future with robots. But somebody's got to build them. Somebody's got to service them. Somebody's got to keep them going. There's a lot of jobs there. You've got one. I think you illustrated an important point.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yes, Girls of Steel really, and all FIRST robotics programs, there's tons of scholarships through them, and you come out of the meetings feeling like you know more than you went into, and so that really does empower you to join that STEM workforce. I know Tina, who's sitting over there, she's interested in going into robotics, and whenever she started Girls of Steel, she wanted to go into history. So it really does empower you to try new things, go out of your comfort zone, which is things that girls need.
Thank you. Terrific stuff. So, Mr. President, nobody wants to talk about the economy anymore. So let's talk about the economy. All right?
I like it.
You beat your critics. You beat your naysayers. We're growing at 3% plus. We just had a record, 18-year high in consumer confidence, I think yesterday or the day before. How'd you do it? What's the message here?
Well, we did it with a lot of good thought, and we did it with a lot of great people like we have here today, and some are going into different fields. By the way, the coal mining field is doing very well right now, but some people will go out of that and some people will go into that because, frankly, it is really As you know, you see what's happening. It's doing great. We have the governor of Kentucky with us, and he has been, Matt, please stand up, Matt Bevin. Please, what a job he's done. And he can tell you how well it's doing, but we have a lot of other industries that are doing well. You really have your choice. You didn't have a choice just a few years ago, and now you have a choice because our markets are so strong. The job market at 3.7% is the lowest in 50 years. It's the best unemployment numbers we have in 50 years. And that's wonderful, but we actually need workers now. That's a good thing to be saying because that hasn't been said for many, many decades. And we want people to come in. You've all been reading about the immigration situation with the caravans and all, but the fact is we want people coming into the country. We want them to come in legally. They want to come through a system that we have set up and that we're really setting up well. And they want to come in, and we want them to come in through merit so that they can help these companies, because we have, just in Japan alone, we have 6 major car companies going to open up new plants and coming in. They're coming into Michigan, and they're coming to Ohio. They're coming to a lot of different places. We have a lot of car companies coming. We have a lot of companies, period. Foxconn in Wisconsin is an example. And all of this has just led to optimism. I mean, we're cheerleaders. That's a big part of it. And we're cheerleaders for our country, for our system. We're getting rid of a lot of the bureaucratic blocks and a lot of the regulations, Larry, which you know are very important. In fact, before we did the tax cuts, and the tax cuts are a big factor, but before we did these really massive tax cuts, the biggest that we've ever done, we did regulation cuts, and quite a bit before, and the economy was really going very well. And then you added to that the tax cuts and other things that we have within the reform bill. And the end result is we have an economy that's the hottest economy right now in the world. And I guess the stock market is up to getting close to 50%. If you think about it, that's incredible since the election. And it's, in fact, I hear today it's doing very well, Larry. It's up another 400 points. It was up 450 or so points yesterday. And it's just doing well. I will say this, they're waiting for the results of the midterms. And if the midterms, for some reason, don't do so well for Republicans, I think you're all going to lose a lot of money. I hate to say that. I think you're going to lose a lot of money. People are waiting on your 401ks and everything else. They're waiting to see what happens with the midterms. And if it comes out good, like we think it probably will, because there's a good feeling in the air. There are a lot of people voting. Go out and vote. But if it comes out good, I think the market's going to continue to go through a period that, like we've never seen before.
Yes, sir. It's a healthy economy. You know, the gentleman over there said, bring it on. I love that. I say that American men and women in business and the workforce are crushing it. We're the hottest economy in the world right now. Trillions of dollars are coming our way. Let me ask you this. Very unusual. When you look at the statistics, God forbid we should use a factoid, we are experiencing record blue-collar employment increases, the likes of which we haven't seen since the middle 80s, okay, when I was a Cub Scout for Reagan. We are looking at blue-collar wage increases are rising faster than white collars. Now, I'm not against white collars, but I'm just saying this is the blue-collar, middle-class Trump economy. How do you account for that?
Well, if you remember, the previous administration said there won't be any more manufacturing jobs. You're going to need a magic wand and all of that. Well, we had the magic wand because we have almost 600,000 manufacturing jobs since the election, and it's going to go much, much higher than that. And these are among our best jobs. I mean, if you look at jobs, those are great jobs. They're high-paying jobs. They're skilled jobs. People are being trained for those jobs. And I think that companies coming in, you have some of the great companies, and I really appreciate your top people coming from these great companies. And I just feel that they can train people far better than the government can train people. And they go specifically to that company. But I don't think there's ever been a way that we can go as a government and train people like you can train them for your great companies. And I also know that what happens oftentimes is people that didn't know too much, and they go in, they get trained, they get a job, they do phenomenally well within the company. They go up in rank, they go up right like a rocket ship, and they go up in salary and pay, and even ownership in many cases where they have stock ownerships and options and everything else. So I just want to appreciate, these are great companies that are with us today, and you have done a fantastic job. So thank you all. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
During the campaign, you made it very
Which
clear.
one? Which campaign? There've been a lot of campaigns.
2016. During that campaign, I thought you made it very clear. You were speaking to people all across the country, the workforce, the entrepreneurs, the business owners. I thought you made it clear that the war against business is over, the war against energy is over, the war against success is over. If you succeed, you can keep more of what you earn. Almost from the day after you won, a falling consumer confidence index started to rise and rise and rise. Day before yesterday, I think, 18-year high. The thing hasn't stopped rising. The same is true for small businesses. Have you changed the attitudes? Have you changed the psychology? Have you said to folks, go out there and take a rip at the ball?
Well, look, I'm a believer in this country. I'm a believer in this system. This is the greatest system on earth. I said it before, we are cheerleaders. If you look at what's going on in certain states, and if you look at what's going on in certain areas of the world, for the most part, the ones that are doing well are the ones that are really in favor. Nobody's hot like we are, though. There's no other country on this planet that's hot like the United States. And a lot of people said this can't happen because we're big. We're a big country. If you look at comparing us to, as an example, China, we're going way up, and China's been hurt over the last number of months, and they're having a hard time, and they'll be fine. And let's see what happens, but we have a chance to make a fair deal because China's been hurting us, and trade deals have been hurting us, and we're changing them. We changed with Mexico, we changed with Canada, South Korea. We have a new deal. We're now negotiating with the European Union, which has been just absolutely hurting the United States. They don't take our product. They don't take your product. They don't take our product. They don't do a lot of things. They charge tremendous tariffs, and we don't. And it's been very difficult dealing with the European Union, but we are now negotiating with them from a position of total strength, because if they don't treat us fairly, we're not going to treat them fairly. And the same goes for many other countries around the world, including China. But people come in, prime ministers come in, and presidents come in, and kings and queens, and everybody comes in. And the first thing they always say is, congratulations on what you've done with the economy. We are literally the hottest country in the world economically, and it's a great thing to see. And I think we have a long way to go. I really believe that. I think, Larry, we have a tremendously long way to go.
You know, Ivanka, you've got, if I understand it, roughly 7 million job openers in the hottest economy in the world.
Yeah.
So your reskilling comes at exactly the right moment.
It's critical that we make sure there's an alignment between the jobs in demand in the modern economy and the skills being taught in our classrooms, our technical schools, and that's what this administration is completely committed to. But it's also really important that we work with industry and also with governors. So as part of this pledge, we had governors sign a pledge saying that they would prioritize this in their states because they do reskilling. They know the needs of their local marketplaces far better than the federal government does. So this president, after this legislation languishing for almost a decade, signed Perkins Career and Technical Education into law, modernized it. This is money that goes to the states that enables the governors to invest and fuel the growth of jobs and training programs that are actually working. Governor Bevin, who's here with us today, is working very hard to attract businesses because the skilled workforce is there. So you really do need this whole pairing of the industry, the skilled labor, and of course the government's commitment to championing.
Some initiative, some hard work.
A lot of, and well, we do that well in this country. So this room is absolutely a testament to the fact that our greatest resource is the American workforce.
But Larry, you do need what Ivanka said last. You need some help from the government to get it started in the right direction. One of the things I'm very proud of is the steel industry. The steel industry was dead. It was as dead as a doornail. We weren't going to have a steel industry in 2 years. You look at what happened. It used to be our great industry. United States Steel was our biggest company many years ago, and there was nothing even like it. It was a juggernaut. It was a powerful, powerful company. And you look at what's happened to our industry, and it's gone down, really gone down the tubes. We literally, and you need steel. You know, there are certain industries we can actually do without and we can buy. but you have to have steel and aluminum. And I put a very substantial penalty on what was happening because other countries were destroying our steel industry. And in addition to collecting a lot of money, which we're collecting on the tariffs, where we put tariffs on the dumping of steel and aluminum, 25% on steel, 10% on aluminum, these industries, it's incredible what's going on. U.S. Steel is building many plants and expanding many plants. Nucor is building, and these are new plants in many cases. These are big, beautiful plants. We're going to be using the iron ore from Minnesota and other places, and Minnesota's booming because of it, whereas the previous administration shut it down for environmental reasons, they said, but nobody quite got it, and they just shut it down, and it was just collapsing. But we were not going to have a steel industry. Now, if you just look at it from the standpoint of defense, if you don't have steel, you don't have defense. You're not going to be buying your steel from a foreign country in case you have a problem, which hopefully we won't ever. But you have to have a steel industry. You have to have a very strong aluminum industry. And you take a look at what's happened to those industries. But steel is the talk of the world because they're saying the steel industries, Wilbur knows because you used to be in that business, the steel industries are coming back, industry, like almost, I can say this, it will be at a level that people won't believe in a very short period of time. And this happened over the last 7 or 8 months. You look at what the plans are for U.S. Steel and for Nucor and so many others where they're building plants, and eventually those prices are going to end up being lower because everything's going to be made here. We're taking the iron ore from here. We're taking everything right from our mines, and that's great for our miners, by the way, but we're all doing it here. We don't need outside for that, nor should we. The other thing is the quality of the steel is much better because we were having garbage dumped on our shores. It was sand. It was all sorts of rock in it. It was bad steel. It wasn't structurally good. And we are now we're creating a fine quality steel, which to me is a very important thing. So what we've done with the steel industry in a very short period of time, I would really say over the last year is being talked about all over the world. We have a steel industry again, and it's really roaring.
Tax cuts have enabled this to really transpire as well. So all of the companies here, the cutting of the corporate rate, the cutting of the individual rates, repatriation of money back from overseas, back to our shores, 100% capital expensing has been just a tremendous boon for the economy. But one of the elements that we've talked about a lot in this room that's very exciting and that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin just put out guidance on. In tax reform, there was also opportunity zones, and that was passed. And that's going to uplift, and the governors have designated over 3,900 opportunity zones, distressed urban and rural communities, and it incentivizes private sector investment into those communities, which is exactly what we want. So the private sector to go and be incentivized to invest where otherwise they would have avoided. So in addition to tax cuts, that's another element that will really help uplift the American economy and fuel the boom we've been experiencing.
I was just going to say, sir, well-done trade reform can be very pro-growth. That's what you're saying.
So we were losing a tremendous amount of money, and unfortunately, it's a number that nobody can even believe, close to $800 billion a year. When you hear that number, folks, you can't be too proud of our representatives from the past. But we're redoing our trade deals. We're making them fair and equitable, and for the other countries too. But they've taken advantage of us on trade. They've taken our money. They've taken our jobs, and we're stopping that. And we have to take care of, I have the expression, America first. And the fact is we have to start taking care of our own country because we were taking care of other countries and we were letting our country go to hell in trade and in so many other ways. We can't do that. We can't do it with immigration, with the borders, with trade, so many different ways. And we're changing that. And we're making great trade deals from horrible trade deals. And if they don't want to do business with us, that's okay. But they can't come in and take the wealth from our country. It's a great transfer of wealth. They can't. We have had one of the greatest transfers of wealth in the history of the world. It's been taken from our country and it's been brought to other countries. And it was only because we had people that were not watching, or they didn't know, or they didn't care. And it's incredible. When I see some of these deals that were made, I say, how could anybody have agreed to it? It's basic. It's like, I mean, it's literally first grade business. It's so simple. And the end result is it's tougher to get out because they've been so used to making so much money off our country, and we can't let them do that anymore. We're going to start paying down debt. We have a lot of debt. We're going to start paying down debt. We have such potential in this country. When I tell you about deals that were made that were so grossly incompetent, they should have never been allowed to be made, and they never changed them. And everybody knew they were bad, and they never changed them. So we're changing them, and we're changing them very rapidly. Our countries, whether they're allies or not, have to treat us fairly, and they haven't been.
Last one, sir. Appreciate it. More of a personal question. Ivanka was talking about initiative and leadership and hard work, along with reskilling. So you've had an unbelievable career. You're in construction, you're in real estate, you're a very famous television host, and now you happen to be president. Did you go through reskilling along the way?
I never thought of it that way, but I guess I did, right? I suspect I did. Look, I've been in a lot of different jobs. I love building. I love the real estate industry. It's been very good to me. I think I've been good for it. I always pride myself on building on time, on budget, ideally ahead of time and ahead of budget. And we really have. I've learned a lot. You know, when you build a building, it's almost like every trade. You're involved with the unions in many cases. You're involved with labor. You're involved with finance. You're involved with design. You're involved with so many different things. In many cases, you're involved with international concepts and deals. So you learn a lot. And then I did The Apprentice, which became a great show, a very, very successful show, tremendously successful. I did it for 14 seasons, 12 years. It's so successful, they put it on twice sometimes. And as soon as I left, that show went down the tubes. So, you know, just one of those things, right? I don't know if I feel happy about that or sad. I've never figured that out. But I don't know if I'd want to leave, Betsy, and the show became even more successful. Almost couldn't have been more successful. It was a tremendous success. I learned a lot from that, too. And I've certainly learned a lot. We're here almost 2 years, and we've learned a lot from doing this, and I think we've put a lot of talent to work. We have great people that we work with, and when they're not so good, we make changes, and we have to do them maybe faster than other people would, but I sort of can figure it out pretty well. And we're doing fantastically well as a country, and a lot of great things are ahead. Our best years are ahead of us. I really believe that. Our best years are truly ahead of us.
Yes, I love that. I want to end on that. You're the quintessential optimist. The best years of America have yet to come. President Trump, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, folks, for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. President Trump is having a rally later on today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, live here at Golden State Times. So make sure you guys subscribe if you are new. Click the notification bell. That way you get a heads up when we go live. Again, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Later on today, Trump rally on Halloween, folks. So make sure you guys join us. Subscribe if you are new. Thank you for clicking the notification bell and also clicking the thumbs up button. And we hope to see you guys there later on today at the Trump rally in Florida, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Thank you so much. I also want to give a quick thank you to Brian Hale for his contribution on Super Chat. Thank you so much.